Hey, hello, and welcome to the Hierophant. My name is Patrick. I got my peaceful meditations on Spotify running in the background if y'all can even hear it. If you're curious or wondering or want to know, um, I was actually just doing this live, but we're gonna go ahead and record it because why not? We go with the flow over here, and we flow with the go. So this is a card. This is a spread inspired by the Nine of Cups, the Wish Granted. So I've gone through and I've pulled all of the planetary dignitaries, I guess, for the cards, and you can see them here. And basically, Bohemian Stars and Ocean Heart readings, sometimes she'll do a general thing where she does a tic tac toe. And since there were 9 spaces, I was like, you know what, that'd be real cute. Now, I am trying to overcomplicate this because I do that with everything. It's part of my quirky, fun personality. If you consider that fun, if that brand of madness suits your fancy, then welcome. If not, then bye, I guess. I don't know. So, let's just get right into it. So basically, what you're going to do is you're going to pick a row, a column, a row, or a diagonal. And I am going to pause it in between, so there shouldn't be much delay. And I'm going to be recording the timestamps as I go along. Since I'm recording this, it'll be a lot less of a hassle than it would have been if I were doing it live. So, without further ado, I'm going to get this paused so I can... I know that they're not all lined up, y'all. And this camera I'm using has a super wide angle, so it's hard to get it straight and not look like it's all whatever anyway. We're going with it. Okay, I'll be back momentarily with the first of what we're going to be doing. So again, I hope you can see the cards. If not, we have the High Priestess, the Empress, the Strength card, the Tower, the Sun, the Magician, the Magus, the Devil, the Wheel of Life, and Apocalypse. No, that's New World Order. That's the World card, sorry. I don't know why I thought that was Judgment for a second. Oof. And I have an Energy Oracle card and a Tarot card under each one. And so together they're going to give us a little bit of a reading or something for you. Something real nice, something real interesting, something to keep you entertained. All right, so the timestamps will be in the description box and in the comment section below. If you don't see it in the comments, it's in the description box, and I had to wait until this video uploaded to comment it. So we're going to be starting with the first column, the column of the Priestess. Again, I have them timestamped by columns, rows, diagonals, and this, or this, or this, or this. If you chose the Priestess column, welcome to the Hierophant. My name is Patrick. I'm going to say that at the top of all of these, just so I can get into practice. And let's get right into it. So how this is going to work is, I'm going to flip the cards over. We're going to start with the Energy Oracle cards first to see what the sort of energies in this situation is. And you can do past, present, future. However you want to look at this is how we'll look at it. And then we'll kind of sort of get a feel for it as it comes out. Also, I encourage you to use your own interpretations. I'm just going to offer you one if you want a little bit of like a starting place. So, you can see we have one Energy Oracle card and one of the Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Krans. I love Kim Krans. So let's go. These are all going to be upright. I'm taking upright meanings only because y'all see it this way, I see it a different way. And when it comes to shifting and changing the perspective, sometimes I get confused and it limits confusion. I know that's more explanation than was necessary or needed, but first we have Blossoming Abundance, and this is number 3. Blossoming Abundance. Then we actually got 2 for this one. And the 2 cards we have are numbers 37 and 47. 37 is 3rd Chakra Archangel Camuel, and 47 is the Thinking Woman. Oh, I love these like yellows and blues or whatever color these are. Why it looks so much bluer in the camera, or it just looked really blue. I'm loving the contrast between these colors. Is what I'm trying to say, y'all. And then last but not least is number 43, the man holding a coin. Let me make sure I hold this the right way. There we go. Nope, it's in reverse. I done it again. The man holding the coin. So what this would tell me is, if this is past, present, and future, blossoming abundance, it's like we know that this is going to be happening. And I love that this is sitting on top of the high priestess. We know that this abundance is coming for us, but we may not necessarily know how it's coming or how to get there. It's very much so like you can feel into the energy and frequency and vibration of a wheel of fortune turning, of your finances, not getting themselves together, of your finances coming together. But with this thinking woman and this archangel Camuel, it's like we may not necessarily know what we can do to get there. And with the man holding a coin, I would say this could be, I don't know why I'm getting like investments for some reason, but I don't want to say it could be coming through the means of someone else. I mean, hey, maybe some of y'all are going to meet a partner who you find love for, and then you also find out that they got a little bit of coin. But financial constraints didn't come out, right? Blossoming abundance came out. So I would say, like, if you do meet someone and there is a difference in income and pay and physical experience, like maybe the person's house is bigger, the car is nicer, whatever, I would say don't get caught up in your head about trying to be someone that you're not. Also, at the same time, you know, that energy isn't necessarily here. But also at the same time, it's like don't. Um, it could be the case that you get in your own head about how they may think of and how they may perceive you. You could be either person in the situation. Show up genuinely and show up honestly, is what I would say. Now, under these, we have the Ace of Pentacles, which is very much blossoming abundance, so love that. We have the Lovers, so you could have attracted a partner with some money, with some money, honey. And the Two of Pentacles. I think the Two of Pentacles is someone who wouldn't mind pulling you in. Right? If there's love there, if there's attraction there, I would say, like, this is something brand new, so you ain't marrying nobody right off the jump. But just make sure if this is a new connection that you explore it outside of just the financial aspect of it. This could also be a business opportunity, right? With the Thinking Woman and Archangel Camuel, you could be sort of in the initial or beginning stages of bringing an idea that you have to light and of actually sort of putting it out there to be monetized and, to actually create that business. And with the man holding a coin, it could be someone with the capacity to either invest, provide support, to invest or provide support in some way. Or this could be someone that you know of who is very resourceful. So I would say, especially with this Two of Pentacles right here as well, and the Lovers here, if there's someone that you trust in business, I think it would be a good idea to try to see if they have any resources that you can utilize. Pentacles could also be starting a whole new family, right? And again, I guess going to the previous, if there is a sort of wealth, I don't want to say disparity, but if there's a difference in wealth between you two, just be sure that you don't allow the relationship to turn into one of those, like, Like, you don't want to feel like someone's property, right? Is basically what I'm trying to say. And so all of that, I feel like there's a great potential for it to not really be an issue, but this is where we really have to question what we our own like mental sort of preconceptions. This is bringing to mind, there's an Abraham Hicks, not a story, but someone came to Abraham and she was like, Abraham, I was manifesting abundance and I was manifesting love, and I've manifested a partner who comes with abundance. I ended up finding someone that I love and they're also very wealthy, but I feel some type of way because, I feel like I still need to work for my own money. Like, I thought the abundance was going to be something that I made for myself. And she was like, sometimes you get a two for one, girl. Basically, long story short, sometimes you get a two for one. And it's not that you necessarily like use this person for their money. Like, you can still do other things, right? If you want to make a business, if you want to work, if you want to do this, if you want to do that, you can still do that. But it's to not necessarily have those hangups within yourself, right? And to also not let somebody else treat you like property or that they bought you off or whatever, right? Unless you want a sugar daddy. If you trying to nine of cups manifest a sugar daddy, then maybe you got a sugar daddy coming. All right, Priestess Row. I'll catch y'all later. The column of the tower. Welcome in, towers. How's y'all doing on in this time? I was gonna say on today. I guess today is always today. Today, tonight, semantics. How are y'all doing in this moment in time? Let's get right into it. I want to get into the energy oracle cards first, and then we'll get into the tarot to see what's up. Right? They may clarify each other. I don't know, girl. I didn't think that far ahead, honestly. Sometimes you just go with the flow. The Tower, the Sun, and the Magician. This is a very interesting sort of like column we've got here. But it's also very beautiful. It's like once you've been exposed to something better, once your eyes are open, you can it's like someone who tries a certain food for the first time. Once your palate has been expanded, you may want to eat other foods that you hadn't tried just to see what's really out there. These are all upright. Oh, we start with number 8, indecision. Indecision right up off the gate with this tower moment. Tower already done fail, y'all. What do we got next? Attachment. Attachment is number 5, so we're in the single digit numbers. Indecision and attachment. Ain't looking that great so far. And then, is this the man holding a heart? This is the man holding a heart. Number 45. Indecision, attachment, and the man holding a heart. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be bad, right? Indecision and attachment and the man holding a heart could be you sort of in a more karmic entanglement, since entanglement is the word of the day for the past few days, right? You could be in a more karmic situation, or you can be involved with someone who could be a little bit narcissistic, who may have your heart in his hand. And it's like you're reaching the spot where you want to break free, but he keeps pulling you back somehow, or you keep going back to him somehow. Attachment, I believe, here is like it's a negative attachment a lot of times. Now, on the flip side, this could be a more positive attachment to someone, but it could come at some sort of a cost. It may come at a price. And it's like opportunity cost, right? If you pursue this, it isn't necessarily that you have to give up something monetarily or physically, but if you pursue this man holding a heart, you can't pursue other men or women holding hearts, right? And so it could be this like, this indecision, because you may have attachments to other things outside of this man holding a heart, and you can't choose. Like, you're in the space of choosing either these attachments that you already have, or this man holding a heart, right? We'll use the tarot to clarify this up a little bit. Ooh, the Ten of Pentacles, girl. Well, excuse me. Wow. Okay. What else is here? The Star with attachment, and the Five of Pentacles with the man holding a heart. Okay. So this could be a little bit more of the former rather than the latter. This could be, let's say you have a family involved with someone and you want to do what's best for your family, and you think that you doing what's best for your family is you staying involved with this man who's holding your heart, but he isn't a great keeper of it. Um, it's like just like this rose, he doesn't really seem to tend to it and give it the care and nurture and affection that it needs to grow. So if it is more of the karmic situation, sometimes getting out is the best thing that you can do for your family. Um, the thing with people is they're kind of sort of affected either way, right? It's like if you have children and your children grow up in a household that's very chaotic, or even if the household isn't chaotic, but they see the way that these partners treat each other, then it does something within them and it gives them an idea of what a relationship should be, right? In some ways. And so then it's like, there's a lot of like psychological, mental, and emotional things that parents kind of sort of have to keep in mind and take into account when children are involved. But at the end of the day, I guess you kind of sort of got to ask yourself, with peace and, you know, not being in this situation, do more good for your children than trying to make something work that isn't working. Um, if you can't get out of this situation, girl, there are resources, there are hotlines that you can call and people you can reach out to. I personally don't know of any, but I will leave it in the comment box, in the description box, at the bottom of the description, or in between the two paragraphs, a hotline number for domestic abuse. What is this? One second. Yeah, and I'll put a little note here to remember to do that. Just in case if, that is something that you could get to that wouldn't necessarily be seen more so than like your search history or something like that. Uh, but yeah, if you have any friends, family, like reach out. Also, I know that some conversations are a little tough to have with children, but it may be better to try to, I would say, seek, if you can, if you have the opportunity to seek professional advice, then always seek professional advice. But sometimes it may be better to give the kids some kind of a context to what's going on. Because if you don't, then their little, child underdeveloped minds will create a scenario and situation to explain it. And it can do that in any way. Now, on the other hand, this indecision could be that, let's say your family doesn't agree with whatever this is, this man holding a heart. And so the attachment that you have is to this family and their hopes and their dreams for you. But it's almost like to not pursue this would leave you feeling unfulfilled. But also to pursue this may cause some drama in the family that you may not necessarily want to um, get into. It almost feels like a very like damned if you do, damned if you don't type of energy. And at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to do what's best for you. And when you're doing what's best for you and when you're doing what's right for you, you will find support in it. And if you need someone to reach out to, reach out. I would also say, like, if there's one person, right, what Lady Gaga says, if there's a crowd of 100 people and if 99 people don't believe in you, find the one person that does and confide in them. Right? Someone who would share your vision and someone who has enough love and care for you to do their best to navigate you in the proper way, right? Cause, and not like, let's say this is a toxic relationship that you're in. It's like, oh well, think of what other people would say if your family split up, and think of it's like, it's not about what other people want or what other people would say. Other people would see you miserable, just like them. Some of them, if they could. But it's time to step out of that. A decision needs to be made, and chains need to be broken. And if this man don't deserve your heart, it's time to reclaim it. Sorry, I'm sending y'all straight. What pile is this? Or what column is this? The tower pile. Y'all maybe, yeah, that's the tower. Okay. The tower, the sun, and the magician. Your new beginning could be held up because of these attachments right here. And it's like, where you should have the sun, you have the star. So I think things may be a little brighter, but you have to turn and face the sunlight. Also, with plants, if they don't turn and face the sunlight, then they will die, right? That's why they kind of sort of twist and contort themselves to always face the sun. Um, and it isn't necessarily about how uncomfortable it is to do that movement. It's about reaching for brighter days. And sometimes you gotta, sometimes again, it comes at a price. Sometimes that price is just other people's expectations, and other people will be fine. I'm sending y'all all the strength and all the love because I feel like y'all might need it. Devil column, welcome on in. Y'all must have some Capricorn in y'all chart. I'm sorry, let me stop. I kid. Welcome to the Hierophant. My name is Patrick, Devil column. I'll call y'all DCs. Welcome, DC, to the Hierophant. My name is Patrick. I'm going to be getting right into it. I was pulling some cards, and the Nine of Cups came out, and I was like, oh, well, I can just, lay out the significator. So that's, why you see all these cards around here. And then we'll just do a little Tic Tac Toe 3 in a row type of deal. My girl Hemi from Bohemian Stars and Ocean Heart Reading, sometimes she'll do collective pulls in between her, and in between the paid readings. And sometimes she'll do a Tic Tac Toe. And I was like, I'll do that. Because I was like, I have all these cards. I don't know what to do with them. I was like, it felt natural. So I got an Energy Oracle card and a Wild Unknown Tarot card. We're going to go through the Energy Oracles first to get a feel, and then go back through with the Tarot. Feel free to, interpret as you will. I'm just going to offer an interpretation, because why not? So let's get right into it, shall we? I guess I could have started with these already on top, but the Devil, the Wheel of Fortune, and the World. So kind of sort of like this sun, kind of sort of like the Tower Sun Magician pile. There's after you get through some stuff, there's an opportunity for something brand new, right? That's fun. Let's get into it. We're gonna be starting with the Broken Heart, number 9. The Broken Heart, number 9. Oh yeah. Okay, well let's see where this goes, y'all. Did a Capricorn break your heart? Are you a heartbreaking Capricorn? Number 4, Happy Family. Oof. The Broken Heart coming out right after Happy Family. Single digits again, which is worth noting, I believe. And then last but not least is this Storm Warning? It is. Storm Warning, number 10. You got number 9 and number 10 with number 4. Have y'all seen the Red Table Talk with Will and Jada and the August Alsina interviews? Because this is it's kind of sort of giving me this energy. But one of the things that I just saw someone said, it was a video titled like, what we're not talking about. And he was like, for all the people who find themselves in third party situations unwittingly, unknowingly, or if two people are separated and someone goes and they're like, I'm going to be divorcing, or I'm going to be, we're in separation, and they form a whole relationship. The dude said, we don't often think of the person who is the third party, who develops feelings and develops attachments and doesn't know any better. And then ultimately at the end of the day, when that relationship is given up and sacrificed for the previously standing relationship, again, regardless of if they know about it or not, or more so if they didn't know about it, or if they were told that, there was a separation and a divorce or whatever happening. We don't often sort of think of the space that that person is in. And that's kind of sort of giving me, it's bringing this to mind. But also with the broken heart, the happy family, and the storm warning, on a more positive note, this could be because the Wheel of Fortune is in this pile, right? The Devil, the Wheel of Fortune, and who else was it? Oh, it was you. The World, with the Devil, the Wheel of Fortune, and the World. It could be putting an end to these cycles where you are attracting partners that aren't able to commit. And it could be like they don't necessarily have to be involved in other commitments. They could just be otherwise tied up or emotionally unavailable, right? Maybe you've come into the space where you've had to mend your own heart a little bit, or you had to look at and analyze exactly how your heart keeps breaking or why your heart keeps breaking. And in that, you've been able to find within yourself the piece of you that needs love. And maybe you've been able to begin to give love to that piece of you. I feel like with this broken heart, the happy family, and the storm warning, another possibility could be that someone in a family could be suffering in silence. And with this storm warning, it's going to be like, if there's someone in your family who you know is having a hard time right now, maybe reach out to them. The broken heart and the happy family this could be a masking energy. Someone could be masking their pain, their dissatisfaction, because they don't want to worry other people. But if it's not addressed soon, you may wish that you had addressed it. You don't want to be in one of those situations where you're like, we all knew that something was kind of sort of up, or they had been off lately, but we didn't know it was that bad. If you feel anything, I would say check in. But what I was about to say is, this broken heart could be ending because of maybe establishing a new happy family, right? This could be you ushering in your soul tribe, or finding the one that you will build a family with someday, or something of that nature. And then this storm warning is kind of sort of the end of this energy. But this storm warning is also giving a tower, because it's gonna come in and completely uproot your sort of emotional foundation. And your emotional foundation and your emotional understanding of the world and of interaction, right? You could be getting someone who is like, I don't know, coming into things that are actually happy and less chaotic, where you weren't necessarily, like, if you don't necessarily know this amount of peace. So be careful that you don't introduce negative energy or manifest it out of it's like when you rescue a stray animal for the first time, and when they've had a particularly challenging experience, and if your home is a safe home, but it takes them time to adjust to it, right? It's like your circumstances and your situations have changed, so be careful of reintroducing old paradigms into new spaces with this storm warning, right? Now let's get into the tarot. I gave so many different situations. This can mean anything. The Emperor with the broken heart. What? Somebody who can't commit to you because they're emotionally unavailable themselves. Happy family with the King of Swords. And then the Seven of Pentacles with the storm warning. The Seven of Pentacles with the storm warning. I feel like this is kind of sort of giving me that last scenario where someone has grown to, this is all speaking of like patterns of control and survival. Someone has grown with a certain mindset to survive these harsh or maybe emotionally unfulfilling scenarios, And so with the King of Swords, they're coming into the knowledge and awareness with this Happy Family card that if they want something different, they're going to have to change their ways. And with the Storm warning and the Seven of Pentacles, it's like them maybe potentially trying different things to figure out how to break these chains. Because the Seven of Pentacles, like, that's something that has been instilled in them since they were young. It's something that's been cultivated and grown within them as they've grown and changed. And it's like as they've matured with this brokenness. It's like they've healed around it, but this wound, this fracture itself has never been addressed. And so there may have been a time of like coping or seeking out something else to out of just like to numb things. I feel like there could have been a frustration here at like not knowing how to heal this and not knowing how to not actively self-sabotage happiness. And like breaking cycles and breaking patterns is not easy. But I feel like whatever this is, maybe this is you. You've come to a space where you're finally of the mind that whatever isn't working, whatever that had been instilled within you that is not you, it's time to root it out. The King of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles, it's time to root it out and cut it out. In the Storm warning, you may be cutting out some family members, also with the Seven of Pentacles. Or you may be seeing how your family doesn't contribute to this happy family, right? You may be cutting out the bad family to leave a happy family. Or not even completely cutting out, but just like putting some distance in between so you can figure out things for yourself. With the King of Swords, it's a time of great clarity. Also there's also a sort of clarity in here. From the broken heart to the happy family to the storm warning. It's a clarity, it's information. A decision will be made. Either way. And I hope you are in a space to weather the storm or to ride the wave. Right? The storm could be good or bad. Storm, just like that tower energy, there are sort of elements of purification. After the storm, things sort of regrow, right? And they come back into balance. And the storm is just part of the season, it's part of the cycle. So, all the best. And I hope you have like flood insurance, and I don't know why like homeowners insurance just popped into mind right as I was about to close that, but maybe look at your homeowner's insurance policy if the winds have been particularly strong in your area lately or if they are going to be. All right, DCs, I'll catch y'all later. Whenever you want to stop by again, I'm sure I'll be here. Bye. Priestess Row, welcome in. My name is Patrick. This is the Hierophant. If you haven't heard my spiel before, y'all chose the Priestess, the Tower, and the Devil. It's like that tower is coming crashing down right on top of that devil pretty little head, or that ugly little head. Honestly, the devil head is probably pretty if it's, it's kind of sort of like siren energy. If devil was ugly, people wouldn't chase after it. Unless they've had a few. Let me stop. Okay, anyway, let's get right into it. I don't think, yeah. So I was shuffling up, and the Nine of Cups came out, the Wish Granted. And so I laid out the cards just like you see these sort of glyphs for the planets. I laid them out that way. The Wish Granted. So, these are the cards on the table. I have an Energy Oracle card and a Wild Unknown Tarot card. We're going to go through the Oracle cards first, and then the Tarot cards, and we're just going to see what comes up. Feel free to interject your own interpretation of these cards. I'm just offering some potential scenarios that these could be highlighting, but it could say something completely different for you because this is your own personal little wish, right? I don't know what y'all want. I can try to divine it with these cards, but ultimately at the end of the day, the fine details, like this is general. So the fine details are for you to sort of know. And me to find out, or try to find out and relate to you. So Blossoming Abundance is what we're going to be starting with. So it's looking good, Priestess Row. Blossoming Abundance is number 3. Next is Indecision, number 8. So we're at 11 right now. 3 plus 8 is 11. Blossoming abundance, indecision. And then number 9, broken heart. Blossoming abundance, indecision, broken heart. This is a 20, right? 3 plus 8. Hold up. Yeah, 3 plus 8 plus 9. That's 11 plus 9. That's 20. 20 is judgment. So, honestly, right off the bat, I would say if you chose the High Priestess, bro, with the energy of the High Priestess, the High Priestess is like, to me as a reader, it's like, you already know. Whenever I see the High Priestess, I'm like, anything I'm about to say, you already know. Anything I already said, you already know. Regardless of if you want to admit it or not, on some level, you know. Excuse me. Now, with this blossoming abundance, indecision, and broken heart, to me, it's saying if whatever you have the 411 on, if you don't act on it, if you wait too long in this space of indecision, you may miss out. And if you miss out on whatever it is, I feel like you're going to know that it was for you. And you could have had it, but you chose to sit it out and wait until somebody else picked it up, until it expired, until it moved on, until whatever. And I don't want you to be in this space. But I feel like if you're indecision for a reason. But whatever is for you is for you. But it still requires something of you to get it. And not everything meant for you, again, will stick around always, right? Like if I buy you a sandwich and you don't eat that sandwich within a certain amount of time, it's going to get nasty and gross, right? And that sandwich was for you, but at the end of the day, it's gonna go into the garbage if you don't take it. It's gonna go into the garbage. It's gonna be recycled. If you don't claim it, somebody else will. It can be so many different things. My advice to you would just be like, yes, take your time, but don't let this pass you by. Let's see what the tarot has to say. Ace of Pentacles, a brand new start. The Ten of Pentacles, girl, like, whoop whoop, and the Emperor. Somebody needs to let go. Okay, on one hand, this could be letting go of like control issues, but with the Emperor coming out last, I feel like this Emperor is saying that if you want to claim this Ten of Pentacles, you have to be decisive. You gotta claim it. You gotta claim it. Claim it. It got to know that you want it, right? You like, and vice versa. With the Ace of Pentacles into the Ten of Pentacles, this is the opportunity to start on something that will lead to so much abundance and earthly fulfillment, wellness, maybe even a family coming back together. The Emperor could be a father figure, doesn't necessarily have to be. Maybe, I don't know who this is for, but I'm going to say it. Maybe someone in here is afraid that they're going to be whoever their father was. With blossoming in the abundance and the Ace of Pentacles, this is a brand new beginning that you want. And with that High Priestess sitting under all this, girl, you know that it has the potential for this and this. But with indecision and the Ten of Pentacles sitting on top of the Tower, this could also be family, the Ten of Pentacles. And like the broken heart and the Emperor just clarify it for me. Maybe you had a father figure or a masculine energy in your life that wasn't the best. And you are afraid of passing that on or of being that moving forward. But don't allow that to stop you from trying. Number one. And number two, whatever you have to do to check in with yourself, check in with your family, check in with your partner, check in maybe with a therapist or whoever you see to keep you accountable, establish that. I think this is one of those things that you don't have to hide. You don't have to suffer through alone. Because with the Ten of Pentacles, like, that's a loving family. That's understanding. But You have to give someone a chance. And again, that comes into this anxiety energy because it's like, well, what if they don't accept it? What if they don't accept me? At the end of the day, I feel like you could be putting yourself in a lose-lose situation. Because you're like, well, if I don't say anything, then, it's like if you don't say anything out of anxiety, then you're going to miss out on this and you're going to feel bad. If you do say something, then you feel like this person may judge you and you're going to miss out and you're going to feel bad. It feels like that you have all of this amazing, powerful stability, loving stability, caring, nurturing stability, actually there for you stability, but you're afraid that it won't live up to what it's building itself up to be, or you won't live up to whoever you need to be, and that you'll screw it up. Um, I would say honest conversation and a healthy throat chakra and a healthy heart. I know the heart is already broken, but a healthy throat chakra and trust will get you to where you don't even have to fear becoming this. Um, right? We all come with baggage. We all have pasts, and we all inherit both good things and bad things from the family that comes before us, right? We all have ancestral issues that we need to work out in some way, shape, form, or another, or at least a lot of us do. But with this Ten of Pentacles and with this Emperor, the Emperor is strong enough to be there regardless. So don't get caught up in the nightmare that this could turn into. Face the dream, right? And personally, I'm at this point in my life where I'd rather give my all for a dream and fall flat on my face than to live with any more regrets, because I've lived enough of my life letting opportunities pass me by. And I would hate for y'all to do the same. So, Priestess Row, this is what I got for y'all. I'm sending y'all so much love and light and strength. And the Priestess is telling me that you already know the wonders that wait on the other side of this decision. You just can't really see your part in it. And you not being able to see your part in it may be psyching you out a little bit. But there are some things that we as humans aren't permitted to see because the choices that we make are important. And if we saw everything, it would influence our choices, and it would make free will and free choice moot if we knew everything that was going to happen. So don't be confused by that. You know, you know enough of what you need to get you to this. This is, again, it's like in the tarot, it's so amazing, and the energy, it's dense and it's heavy, and it's something that you've been carrying maybe for a long time. But blossoming abundance. This is the birth of something new. It's like from the carcasses and the fungus and everything else, or from the carcasses and the rotten like leaves and branches and limbs and everything else on the forest floor, the buzzards and the funguses and the other decomposers, they come in and they transform that death into something that can give rise to new life. And it feels like you've already been through that transformation process. You just need to allow things to grow and flourish. So all the best to you moving forward. And I'll catch y'all next time. Priestess Row, Priestess Row, Priestess Row. My name is Patrick. This is the Hierophant, and welcome. If you missed it at the top of the video, I pulled this Nine of Cups, and I was like, what can I do with this Nine of Cups? I was like, oh, I can do a little spread. So y'all see the little glyphs for the different planets? Well, hey, you'll see the same glyphs for the planets here in the top right corners. When it came to the nodes, the south node is in the horn of the devil, and the north node is in the sky around the lion in the force, which is the strength card. So, I got an energy oracle card for y'all. I got a wild unknown tarot card for y'all. and we'll get into it and we'll see what's up. Feel free to interpret these as you will. I'm just going to give y'all a little bit of what I think this could be, right? I'm going to give y'all a interpretation of what this could be, of what could be going on. Maybe it's you, maybe it ain't you. These is general. So they ain't going to be for everybody. Might not be for anyone. Hey, it's a potentiality, it's a possibility, right? So, without further ado, I'm going to do the oracle cards first, and then we'll get into the tarot. So, you actually got two oracle cards here. We have number 37, Archangel Commuel, 3rd chakra, and number 47, the Thinking Woman. So maybe coming up with a plan, but not yet putting it into action with that solar plexus. Or it could be the case that your thoughts and your actions just don't line up. You may have like a Mercury that opposes your sun, or a moon that opposes your sun, or a Mercury square the sun, or a Mercury or a moon square the sun. You can have a Mars and Mercury in disfavorable aspects, potentially, you know. Next, we have number 5, attachment. Okay, I was like, do I got that up right? Number 5, attachment. And then number 4, happy family. So, this is interesting. This gives me the energy. I don't know if y'all are necessarily looking for love, but this is giving me the energy of someone who heavily filters themselves in order to try to attract somebody else. So yeah, last time I saw these, I was not necessarily feeling this as like a moon, sun in a less favorable aspect, or a Mars, Mercury in a less favorable aspect. Might throw Venus in there too. Because it seems like, I don't know, you could be shrinking yourself, cutting yourself off, making yourself more palatable in order to be more appealing to not even like a romantic interest, but maybe just people in general. And maybe it stemmed from the family. And I know this is a happy family card, but maybe in order to appease family members, you sort of muted yourself in the past. And so now moving forward, you're continuing to do that. And that's sitting in the space of this attachment. But to get to an actually happy family, to actually be happy, would require you to not do that. It requires you to not limit yourself. Because in the energy of limiting yourself, you'll never find true happiness and true acceptance. And so maybe it's time for you to realize that. Like, there isn't an Ace of Swords here, but as long as your mind and your heart, or your head and your body, aren't on the same page, you're going to feel that disconnect. And you don't necessarily have to. So, yeah. Really look at why you do that, and maybe where it stemmed from. If you got a therapist or a licensed professional, maybe, bring that up or tackle that next, right? If you have a trusted friend who gives good advice, maybe do that. But I don't know, lately I feel like I'm in the energy of recommending therapy, because some people have you messed up, girl. You got to make sure you know who you're talking to, and you want to make sure you're talking to someone who can be understanding and compassionate, but who also faces their own problems, or who can give you advice to actually face your problems. Because if that's what you're seeking, band-aids won't really help. But yeah, something about your old programming, it limits you from experiencing true happiness. And when you're not experiencing true happiness, it may be a little bit more difficult to come into the energy of that happy family. Because you could find moments of happiness within that family, but in my personal opinion, you just don't want to run the risk of, like, would this person like me if they really knew who I am, or would we still be together if they really knew who I was? Like if like that's why I've always been of the mind to be yourself up front, so that way when you do make friends, you know that they're actually friends with you and not the facade or the mask or the character that you play, right? But with that happy family card coming out at the end, if you can get over these attachments, there is a potential for something good to happen. But it may be a lot of work. And like it's interesting because this row was probably some of the most positive cards, right? But that's the thing about facades. Sometimes if you look that happy on the outside, you may be masking for some deep dissatisfaction on the inside. We have the lovers. The lovers. So accurate-ish. We'll see. The star. That's upside down. There we go. The star. Both of these I'm reading all upright, by the way. BT dubs. Boy the boy. And the Father of Swords. So we have Aquarian energy here twice. So y'all could be two Aquariuses coming together. But Aquarius is fixed air. And you don't want attachments to patterns of thought that aren't healthy. With the lovers coming out first, I want to say that you're actually in the space of making better choices. And I want to say you're in the space of making choices that you know make sense for you and that you know will make you happy. And you may be waiting for your heart to catch up. You may be waiting for your walls to drop. You may be waiting for that assuredness. Maybe you haven't necessarily found your community yet, but as long as you stay in the vibration and frequency of authenticity, you will keep pulsing out the light that will draw them in. Yeah, I actually kind of sort of like how this looks. I kind of like how this looks. I will say, however, it just came to mind, be careful of trauma bonding. And trauma bonding being like you meet up with someone who's gone through the same or similar traumas and hardship to you in the past, right? And I think one of the dangers with trauma bonding is if both people... I just found my cup. I was kind of sort of halfway looking for my cup earlier, and I just looked up and I found it. I saw it, and it's sitting inside of another mug. And so it's a larger cup sitting inside of a smaller mug, right? So whatever relationship you get in, you want to make sure it has a capacity for growth. Especially if we're talking about family and the lovers, that's like lifelong or at least long time commitment, unless we're dealing with another 72-day situation. Chris Humphries, was that his name? Kim Kardashian and Chris Humphries. I can never remember his name, but it literally just came to my mind. So, hey, this ain't one of those 90-Day Fiance situations. Or it might be, who knows? But yeah, you want to make sure you get someone that you can grow with, and that's sort of one of the dangers when it comes to trauma bonding, is if you have one person who is more attached to their trauma than the other, and then you encounter the situation where one person is holding the other back. And then that's when things can get a little nasty, and it's like, well, you know, I care for this person, and I don't want to leave them, especially if they got abandonment issues, and I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that. And so I'm not necessarily saying that you have to, like, we all deal with stuff and we all face things. Life happens to everybody. Even the people who are more privileged, life still happens to them in some ways, right? I think there also needs to be a space of honoring what the other has gone through, right? And even if you haven't been through it yourself, or the other person hasn't, or if you haven't, it's being able to honor and respect what the other person has gone through. But at the same time, we're not necessarily excusing bad behavior or abuse or anything like that. So it's kind of sort of fine liney type energy, but the King of Swords, he can handle all that. He has the mental capacity for it. I would say, however, again, looking at the cups, make sure you are also developing that emotional capacity for it. Because on the mental, it looks all good, but when it comes to the heart, I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes you can lead with the mind, and the heart will follow. Just be extra, extra intentional and aware as you proceed forward. And that's what I got for y'all. I feel like it may not necessarily have been too long, but it looks like it may not be much breaking this attachment, but it looks like with this star, you have enough of a light to know that whatever you attach to ain't necessarily for you, and to cut it out if you actually want this happy family. Maybe y'all are still in the space of cutting stuff out to get to this happy family, right? First, you got to be happy within yourself, or you have to be happy enough within yourself that you allow yourself to be in a happy family situation without actively causing problems to introduce drama into a space that doesn't need it, because it's too good, it's too pure for anything that you've sort of gone used to or been accustomed to, or have experienced in the past. So all the best to y'all, and I will catch y'all next time. Bye. Force Road Dog. Hey, Force Row, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? Welcome in. My name is Patrick. Call me what, Dovahkiin? I don't remember. I ain't played that much of Skyrim, honestly. Hyra Fish, Patrick, welcome in. I pulled this card earlier today, and I was like, what do I do with this? So I turned, y'all see the little glyphs for the planets? I got all the mages from the deck. And then I was like, well, I'm going to put an Oracle card and a Tarot card behind them, and we'll do a little Tic Tac Toe 3 in a row type sort of action. We got an Energy Oracle card, a Wild Unknown Tarot card. I'm going to flip them for y'all, and we'll get into it. Feel free to use your own interpretation this time, especially. I'm just presenting the cards more so than anything, and giving a potential storyline of what this could be for you, right? Energy is fluid, and it's not as dense as the 3D physical reality. So that's when we get into elements of timelessness and things like that. And depending on how you interact with the energies and how you proceed on your journey will determine how the path unfolds itself for you. All that being said, these are general and they ain't gonna hit for everybody. They ain't gonna hit for everybody. Because they're general, right? They're general, so keep that in mind. And without much of a further ado, I believe I'll just get started. So let's start with these Oracle cards. We have the man holding a coin, number 43, which is a 7. Then we have the man holding a heart, which is 45, which is a 9. So we're at 16 right now. And then, last but not least, we have Storm Warning, which is a 10. So that would be a 27-9. Right? Maybe not. 45 plus 40. Hold up. Let me do this math real quick. 43 plus 45 is 98. 108, 9. Yeah, it's a 9. Triple digits, y'all. I don't know if anyone else has necessarily hit triple digits. I'm not sure. Y'all got the man holding the heart and the man holding the coin. But Storm Warning. I don't know if this is two different people. They kind of sort of look similar to me. This could be a man. Y'all could be a man with a heart and coin trying to find somebody. Or y'all could be manifesting a man with heart and coin. But with the Storm Warning coming out, it's like, beware, girl, beware. Also, though, low-key, it's giving me Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball vibes, where it isn't necessarily a bad storm, but it may be more abundance than you know what to do with. It may be more love than you know what to do with. It could be the case where you thought you was getting one thing or going after one thing, and you done run into a whole gosh darn Prince Charming that is more than you could have ever dreamed or hoped for or imagined. But in the receiving of all of that, or in the confrontation and the facing of all of that, it gets you really shook. Like, man, this is so much of what I was wanting, maybe more than I would even dare ask for or dream for. Am I up to par? Am I up to snuff? Am I worthy of this? Wishes may bring problems such that you regret them. Better that, though, than to never get them. Into the Woods. Look her up. She's amazing. Stephen Sondheim. I love it. Wishes may bring problems such that you regret them. Better that though than to never get them. Wishes come with issues, girl. Because life still happens. Life happened, made you wish a wish. Life will happen after you get your wish. But, as long as you kind of sort of show up and continue to show up, you'll navigate, you'll manage it just fine. You'll be all right. You have a 1089. It's the number of completion. We have the 1 and the 8. The 1 being beginnings, the 8 being abundance. So the beginning of a whole brand new abundance, which could be the completion of a lack cycle that you're coming out of. Now, the difference between the 9 and the 10 is at least with the 10, you've been reintroduced or you've been introduced into this new cycle. So, you have a little bit of an idea, but you're closing this out. And Storm Warning is coming to take anything and everything that will not go with you into the future, including old mindsets, old patterns, old stuff like that. But if you don't allow the storm to take what it needs to take from you, it will take you. It will take all of you, and you will lose all of this. So either you allow the storm to take what it needs to take, or it just, like a cow and twister, girl, you be mooing all up in that thing, spinning around. What's that? You spin my head right round, or whatever. You spin my world. I don't know if it's the world or head or whatever. So many references. But yeah, that's what this is. Financial support. It's also love. This could be different people. This could be you. And then the storm warning. Again, the storm could be good or bad. Or it could be an inner storm, again, of facing the self and the many shadows of the self when you're confronted with all of the things that you say you're worthy of. And then your ego is like, well, are you really? Do you really think you're worthy? Because I'm about to give you everything you've hoped for. And we'll see. Ooh, girl, why y'all so pinnacle heavy? Why y'all so penny heavy? You go from the 2 of Pentacles. 2 plus 5 equals 7. Oh my gosh. Cute. This will be a 14. 14 is a 5. Oh, we already got the 5. So the 2 of Pentacles, when it comes to this man holding a coin, we have the 2 of Pentacles. When it comes to this energy of someone bringing abundance, you have juggling, you have constriction, you have financial ties. When it comes to the man holding a heart, when it comes to someone giving you love and fulfillment, you have the 5 of Pentacles, which is about feeling lonely on the outside, isolated. And then when it comes to storm warning, you have the 7 of Pentacles. This is such contradictory energy, girl. I don't even know where to begin, but we're going to get into it. Now, I'm going to give y'all a few different scenarios. Now, with the man holding the coin and the 2 of Pentacles, this could be somebody like, once you find out, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you had like coin, girl. You don't dress like you got coin. You don't act like you got coin. How was I supposed to know you got coin? When it comes to this man holding a heart, he might have deep-seated, deep-rooted insecurities. He may have a tragic he may be Batman. You could be dealing with a Bruce mother freaking Wayne, girl. A whole gosh darn Batman. And you just Lois Lane looking at Clark Kent like he might be Superman. So you like getting into Clark Kent business thinking you about to uncover Superman when you stumble into the Batcave and you're like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. A little bit more money. A lot of bit more money. A little bit more tragedy depending on how you look at it. And maybe a lot bit more angst at the same time. Because it don't seem like Superman got too many issues. Besides being the only alien on Earth or whatever. From Krypton, the only Kryptonian. Right? It's like he lost the whole planet, but he was a baby, so, the Kents raised him right. And so he still had them. Batman had Alfred, which is somebody, but, Anyway, I feel like this is a little bit somber. There could be very much so the energy of facades here. And I don't know which is which. I don't know which face is the real face. And I don't think it's a which is which. I think this is a both. I think this is a both energy. And then when it comes to the Seven of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles is having everything in line, all your ducks in a row. But then the storm warning is like, I wouldn't be too concerned with putting all those ducks in a row because I'm about to come in and switch some stuff up regardless, right? And so it's not that you shouldn't try to do whatever you can do in this moment, but it's to not be so rigid, not be so fixed in your perception of things. The way you've perceived things has not necessarily been reality. And so your third eye may be coming online to the point where you are seeing masks just falling off left and right, maybe seeing things within people that you thought you'd never see. Quarantine will do it. It probably shook quite a few people who thought they were otherwise stable. But in reality, they were otherwise sufficiently distracted from what's really happening in their lives. And that could be you. Um, Maybe you've recently met someone, or you will meet someone who will come in like a tower and just shake things up for you, right? It's like, this is a bad example, but I'm going to tell it anyway. It's like when you finally leave home and you find out how much your parent or parents actually can't cook. So it's like when you go off and you have good food for the first time, and so then when you go back home for Thanksgiving, it's like the food don't taste the same because your palate has expanded. It isn't even necessarily that the food is bad, right? Maybe like your palate just expands and there are other flavors that you really like that you never had at home. Um, and so it then begins to like have you question like, wow, can my parents actually cook? Like, if I've been fed, for lack of a better word, garbage all my life, only to find out what good food is, what else in my life is trash, right? It's like it opens your eyes to the world in a way that they had never been opened before. And it causes you to look at things in a way that you had never looked at them before. And so if these men are you, then that could be the case for you, right? It's like I thought I knew what love was. I thought I knew what stability was. I thought I was good, but things can always go deeper. And that's what this is. I guess the advice here would be that know that spirit can give you anything and everything that you would ever need, want, or hope for. That the quality of relationship that you've had in the past does not have to carry forward throughout the rest of your life. Let's say for whatever reason, with this Five of Pentacles and this man holding a heart, he's at a sort of space of indecision, or he's hurting because of a relationship that he's lost. Not thinking he'll ever be able to find something as good or better. And when it comes to people, it isn't necessarily always the case of better. Sometimes people are just different, and the relationships are different, right? It's like I got my one friends that like I got my spiritual friends, and then I got like my gaming friends, and then I got my these friends, and I got those friends, right? And I value and appreciate them all for different reasons. And so what they give me, and even what I give them, isn't necessarily always directly correlatable. How do you say correlatable? It would be correlated like that. And then with the storm warning, it could be the case that it's like with all of this love and with all of this money, and like this love could be like very surface level. right? Because there's no cups here. It's all pentacles. It's all pentacles, and pentacles are fine, but pentacles aren't cups. Pentacles are nurturing and loving, but pentacles aren't cups. And so it could be the case that, like, I don't know. Maybe this person was always going off of someone else's metrics, or always listening to someone else, and so it made this person always feel like they don't have it together, or that they're lacking something, or that they're behind. But in reality, they can have it a little bit more together than they thought. There's a lot of energy here, and it is kind of sort of confusing. Not confusing, but it's very contradictory. It's like facades. It could be facades, but also it could be like the case that both are true. Because often it is the people who look to the brightest things in life who may have gone through the darkest. Sometimes it's the people who have the most coin who come from a space where they have the least. And sometimes it's the folks who seem to always have their life, who, like, the folks who never have their lives together. But that could be because when they were growing up, everything was so structured and organized that they turned to just the random beautiful nature of things, right? It's we all go through different experiences in life, and they affect us in different ways, and it isn't always as easy, or it isn't always as simple as, if I would have had that coin growing up, I would have been whatever. If I would have had that family or that love growing up, I would have been whatever. If I would have had that structure, if I would have had that regimen, if I would have had that rigidity, that stability, right? You could see it as stability, but to somebody else that could have been in prison. We're all different, and we all handle things in different ways. So, anyway, this is what I got for y'all. Who was y'all? Who was y'all? Y'all was my row. Y'all's a row. The force row. Strength, the row of strength. You know, lions like to have fun too, right? They're not always on the prowl. They're not always hunting. So, all the best, y'all, and I'll catch y'all later. Bye bye. Hello, Priestess D's, the Priestess Diagonal. I don't know if this is the main diagonal or the minor diagonal, because we looking at this two different ways. It's upside down to me, but it's right side up to you. So, my name is Patrick. This is the Hierophant. Welcome in. I pulled this card earlier today, and I was like, what can I do with this? I was like, oh, I'll do like a spread. So you see the different planetary glyphs. If you check out the upper right, at least on my side, upper left, girl, that's the left. If you look at the upper left corner, it may be, yeah, it's still the upper left. If you look at the upper left corner, you'll see the different glyphs for these, just like how you see Jupiter here. This is the energy of Jupiter in Pisces. You see the little glyph for Jupiter up there? Jupiter in Pisces. I got all the majors corresponding to the planets. When it comes to the nodes, the devil has the south node on its horns, and the force has the north node in the clouds and the sky behind the lion. The force is the strength card. The devil is the demon. So, yes. Anyway, main diagonal, I have an energy oracle card, and I have a wild unknown tarot card. I will say feel free to interpret these as you will. I'll go through the oracles first and then the tarot, and I'll also sort of give my little 2 cents of what this could be. These is general. They ain't going to resonate for everybody. Your specific situation is your specific situation. Take what apply, let the rest fly. You may find that certain information kind of fits for your situation, but other parts don't. I'm very much so that type of person. Sometimes I watch a reading, and it's like that part fits, that part fits, that part fits, but the rest doesn't. I don't try to force the whole reading to fit my situation if the whole reading don't feel like it fit my situation. So take the parts. It's like, sometimes you got to cut around the fat, right? So let's just get into this. This first card, I've done this often enough. I should know what these is. I should know what they are. This first card is Blossoming Abundance. And it's number 3. Blossoming Abundance, number 3. All right, priestesses. With that blossom in abundance, y'all know things are about to turn. Now this card I don't remember. Attachment, and it's number 5. So we're sitting at an 8 right now. This card I literally just saw it, and it's number 10. So this is 18. 18 is a 9. So that's cute. 9 is a number of completion. And 10 is storm warning. Yep, storm warning. Blossoming abundance, attachment, and storm warning. Immediately, right off the bat, you need to look at what you have space for. If you have these attachments, you may not have room for this blossoming abundance. And if you don't have room for this blossoming abundance, you're going to come into this sort of moment where you are manifesting more than you have the capacity to hold within your vessel. And so it's going to cause some tower moments maybe to free up some space. And if you hold on to these attachments instead of letting this tower fall, girl, then brace yourself for the storm. The things that need to fall away need to fall away. An attachment is the energy that makes that a little bit more difficult. It could also be the case that, let's say for whatever reason, you win the lottery tomorrow, and you got all these people coming at you with their hands out. This blossoming abundance may also get you to look at some of your attachments in a way where you're like, you don't serve, you don't serve, you don't serve, and I'm going to have to cut ties because y'all ain't coming in either ruining my abundance or just using me for my abundance. Either way, with attachments and the storm warning, there needs to be an area of evaluation when it comes to this abundance. Do you have space and room for what it is that you're manifesting? Or is the space too crowded because of previous attachments? Right? You might want to free up some space, because if you ain't got no space, the abundance ain't gonna have nowhere to go. I hate to say it that dry, but honestly, at the end of the day, that's what it's feeling like. You need to make sure you have space for what it is that you're asking for. And don't allow your attachments. It's like, choose wisely. Do you choose, this is blossoming abundance, so it's new, right? Are you choosing to be attached more to the old stuff or the new stuff? More to the chaotic and disarray, or to harmony, abundance, and peace? Honestly, a lot of attachments tend to disharmony because a lot of what we've lived up to until this point may have been disharmonious or may not have honored our truest selves. So, you know, like I said, choose wisely. Now we're getting into the tarot. Now with this blossom in abundance is the Ace of Pennies, girl. So Ace of Pennies is like, this is blossom in abundance, abundance. This abundance has the ability to reshape your entire life, remold your world, completely project you into a whole new class of experiences. And again, if you got all this new coming, and you got these attachments to lower energies or lower vibrational people, it's going to come in and it's going to try to siphon off of that. Let's see what's behind this, because I can't remember. The star is behind attachment. So I feel like you've been at least wishing for an escape from these attachments. You've been manifesting escape. With the storm warning comes the Seven of Pentacles. This is an interesting energy because the storm warning and the Seven of Pentacles, it brings a choice. Either you're going to allow this tower to fall, which would be at least loosening some of these attachments to make room for this abundance, or with the Seven of Pentacles, you're going to keep giving it and feeding it the same energy you've been giving it and feeding it, and sacrificing this in order for these attachments. At the end of the day, with this main diagonal, the High Priestess is asking you, the High Priestess is saying, okay, everything you've been manifesting, you had the potential for. It ain't necessarily coming. It ain't necessarily not coming. The High Priestess is just letting you know that you have set that up as a potentiality on your path. But everything else is asking you, are you going to choose to allow? Are you going to choose to align with it to allow it into your experience? Or are you going to continue to operate in old ways and see that kind of sort of pass you by? I don't know. This one is fairly short, but whenever it comes to the High Priestess tells me that you already know. Right? Depending on when I see the High Priestess, it's either you already knew everything I just said, or you already know everything I'm about to say on some level. You may not necessarily want to believe it. You may not necessarily fully believe it. You may be looking for some kind of confirmation, but ultimately, at the end of the day, you already know. And it's like, unfortunately, when we don't address the underlying issues, what we'll end up doing is we'll end up cutting ties. But if we don't address the root source of this attachment, we'll end up manifesting brand new attachments that play in the exact same way these did. Maybe worse, maybe slightly better, but at the end of the day, we find this attachment, the energy of attachment, mirrored and echoed throughout our many, many, many experiences. And so that may be why it seems that, like, no matter where you go, you always encounter a storm. Right? You may be moving to an area of the world where it's like, oh yeah, we've never had a storm ever. And then you move there and all of a sudden they having storms, girl. They was like, how is we in the middle of this huge continent and we got hurricanes? Ain't no body of water for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. How is this possible? And sometimes if you don't address this stuff, you'll bring the storm with you. And that's another thing that can limit this blossoming abundance. It's like, what are you really making space for? And are you asking for more than your vessel can hold? And by your vessel holding it, I mean like in a cup when it comes to your when it comes to your spirituality, your emotional body, maybe even your mental body. What do you actually have space for? And are your previous attachments worth not claiming all of this? I don't know. That's a you question. But that's what I got for y'all. Hopefully, I'm sending y'all a little bit of clarity. Some clarity, because y'all might need it. I'm giving y'all a sword. I'm sending y'all an Ace of Swords moment so y'all can get the clarity. And then y'all can either page, knight, king, or queen pick that thing up and get to cutting if you need to get to cutting. Because at the end of the day, we should be more concerned for our own well-being and happiness than we are for other people. Because when we are our most well and happy, we can be at our best for those that we care about. But if we're drained and if we're not aligned and if we're feeling some type of way, you can't pour from an empty cup. Right? You can't pour from an empty cup. All right, DDs, y'all's my last one for tonight. So, the Devil Diagonal, DD, the Devil, the Warrior, the Force. With these, y'all got the whatever y'all need to conquer this energy, y'all got it. And that's literally what I was gonna say. Y'all's the DD tonight, so y'all can't have a night full of drinking, debauchery, and fun, because y'all gotta drive. Y'all gotta drive. So whatever toxic, fun, whatever mess, we're putting it away. Before I even look at the oracle cards or the tarot cards, we're putting it away. It's time to put it away. It's time to put it away, DD, because you gotta drive tonight. So let's get into this. Hi, my name is Patrick from the Hierofish. Welcome to my channel. I hope it is to your liking. I know it could look a little better, but we don't necessarily concern ourselves with only appearances. We also care about the substance over here. And so we hope that it is to your liking taste-wise as well, right? I pulled this card earlier today, this Nine of Cups, and y'all see all these little planetary glyphs and stuff on them cups? Is this upside down? Yep. Y'all see all them little planetary glyphs and stuff on them cups? I was like, oh, well, let me pull the majors and then do a little Tic Tac Toe 3 in a row. Hemi from Bohemian Stars and Ocean Heart readings and her collectives, her generals between the paid readings. Sometimes she'll do a potluck Tic Tac Toe or just a Tic Tac Toe 3 in a row, and you pick a row, a column, or a diagonal. And I was like, well, I got 9 cards in this orientation, so why not? So I pulled an Energy Oracle card. I got a Wild Unknown Tarot card. Feel free to interpret this however you will, but I will also give y'all a little bit of what this could be from my perspective reading these cards, right? These are general. They ain't gonna resonate for everybody. They may not resonate for nobody, right? Or the person who this resonates for may not find this video until much later. Who knows? Time is all an illusion. It's all quantum anyway. Whenever you're ready for the information appears. And sometimes whenever you're ready to make a decision, misinformation will appear. Speaking of devil energy. And you do with that information what you will. If parts of it resonate, take the parts that resonate. If other parts don't resonate, Leave those parts behind. Sometimes it isn't necessarily the whole story that fits your situation. Sometimes it may be a very specific thing or a specific phrase or whatever, right? Again, it hits different for different people. And I'm just going to get right into this because y'all's my last one and I'm excited to be done. So, I hope y'all's putting the toxic tendencies behind because, again, y'all are the DD tonight. And you already agreed to be DD. So don't nobody want to have to pay for no Uber. Broken Heart, number 9, was what we're starting out with. Maybe y'all hearts. I know the first time I did like the devil column, I was like, ooh, did a Capricorn break y'all heart? You could be a Capricorn, and you could have broken your own gosh darn heart because you're just feelings averse. Potentially, not all Capricorns are feelings averse. Then we have attachment number 8. Is this going to be number 7? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're counting down. Broken heart and attachment. Oof. This card I should know, actually. That card is the man holding a coin. And it's number 43, I believe. Oh my gosh. It's number 43. It's number 43, the man holding a coin. 987. 987 654 Didn't I tell y'all? DDs, are y'all turning up even though y'all supposed to be DDing? Are y'all making people call an Uber? And then y'all don't even care. You be like everybody else was having fun. Shoot, I wanted to have fun too. I was only supposed to have one drink or half a drink or a sip of somebody else's drinks. And then one drink turned into 15 and now I can't even stand up, so somebody else is gonna have to drive. It's like, girl. With the broken heart, attachment, and the man holding a coin, I feel like substances can't heal and mend hearts. This could be the energy of like maybe you went through a bad breakup or for whatever reason you want to prove something to somebody, and so you go out, you work hard, you get all this money, you get all this stuff to try to impress somebody else, like, oh, they're gonna wish they had stayed or they're gonna wish that or whatever. But then it almost like it has a feeling of it didn't do whatever you expected it to do. Now either the other person don't care, they still ain't paying attention to you, or you're not feeling as satisfied as you thought you would with pursuing these physical earthly things. With this attachment sitting right here in between. Also, you could have went through a bad breakup and you was like, you know what, I'm gonna get my body right. Some people like they change their appearance. Some people get super fit. Some people get stuff. It's like using things outside of you to try to heal things inside of you. But all that does is it reinforces attachments to the negative things, right? It's like now everything you're doing for somebody else. Regardless of if you're trying to win them back or not, you could just be trying to make them jealous. But if they don't care, or even if they do care, then what does it actually bring you? What does it actually do for you? Does it heal your heart? Does it undo what was done in the past? Does it free you of these attachments? I feel like, DD, it's time for you to start doing something for yourself. And this is bringing a very specific friend of mine in mind because dude was supposed to take me home. We went to the bar. We was going to get one drink. And he was going for his second. Now, I should have known that he wouldn't have stopped because this friend doesn't know how to have just one drink. He doesn't, in his mind, if you're not getting blackout drunk, then why are you drinking? And I was like, I just want to enjoy one drink, my guy. And you're supposed to be taking me home, right? And I ain't getting in the car with somebody who's way over the limit. I don't care how many times you've driven while under the influence or intoxicated. I ain't getting in the car with you. Because I'm not playing with my life like that. You can play with your life like that. And so I ended up walking. And he was like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, see, no. Because we already had an understanding. I thought we had an understanding. I made it home all right. I mean, it wasn't that far to walk, but still. Anyway. Also, with this energy, it's like there could be things that you want to commit to, there could be new experiences that you want to have. But with this attachment and this broken heart, it's like it's holding you back. Is it more important for you to superficially address or try to lick any wounds you have than it is to make actual deep, long lasting, impactful changes? Right? With this, it could also be the case that maybe you've had a lot of people in the past who would break your heart and who would tear you down. And so you have an attachment to that energy of people who will tear you down and break your heart because that's all you've ever known. And that attachment to this energy is keeping you from seeing your own worth to the point where you can begin to attract people and experiences in your 3D life that will mirror what you're actually worth. Because this is telling me that whatever you're attracting, you're doing it through attachments and brokenheartedness. And it's not going to bring you the energy that you wish. It's not going to liberate you in the way that you want. Again, it's like why are you still doing this? Why, like, that person still has those situations with that attachment, they still have a power and authority over you if everything you're doing is to get back at or to get someone else to see you. Now we start with the Emperor with the broken heart. I literally should know what this card is. Attachment is, I forgot already. the Star, the Emperor, the Star. And then down here we have the Two of Pentacles with the man holding a coin. The Emperor, the Star, and the Two of Pentacles. I think the Emperor with the broken heart is someone who's grown with that and someone who's grown strong. Honestly, this is kind of sort of giving me lung vibes for whatever reason. And so with the heart and the lungs, it's like half of you always speaks this. And since half of you speaks it, it continues to be. And you speak it because it's been your experience. And so it enforces this attachment. But when it comes to attachments, we have the Star. And the Star and attachment is it's a glimmer of hope. It's a way out. It's an escape. It's like when someone is stuck in a pit and they drop a rope, but it's a very vibrant, radiant, golden rope. It's Wonder Woman's lasso. It's truth. It's clarity. It's a moment of clarity in the darkness. And then with the Two of Pentacles and the man holding a coin, I feel like what's being illuminated is how this attachment and this brokenheartedness and how you've grown to survive in these environments is actually holding you back and tying up your finances and your abundance. Because again, it's all about your self-worth. And so I would say take this moment of clarity and do all that you can with it. Whatever it is that you know you need to do, I pray that you have the strength to do it. And that's how you gotta get what you actually want. I know this is like the wish granted spread, and not all of these were like, oh my gosh, you're like, this is amazing. But whenever we wish for something that we don't have, sometimes, a lot of times, it comes with us needing to become someone that we've never been in order to fully accept those wishes and to live a life where we continue to push that energy forward, right? Because it's like some people win the lottery and within a few years they've blown all the money and they have nothing to show for it. Some people can take a nickel or $5 to $10 and turn that into a lot of money, right? And so that's kind of sort of the energy here. I know it's the wish granted, but what are we willing to put in to see these wishes come to life. With detachment and the stars always come out at night. But when are we going to exit the cave and allow ourselves to see the sun and all of its radiance? When are we going to be these warriors that stand up and fight? When are we going to have the strength to be like, you know what? I'm not. When are we going to have the strength to see ourselves in our entirety and not whatever's been reflected to us or whatever situations we've been put in? Right? The outside isn't always a reflection of what's on the inside, but the outside can relate to us insecurities and instabilities through how it makes us feel and our interactions with it. So, with that, I bid you a good time, and I'm sending you all of the love and all of the strength to really break these chains and begin to see and experience yourself and the beauty of who you are, and not through the eyes of so many who would refuse to see you or to celebrate you or to put you to lift you up. So, all the best, friends. Bye.